Guys, I have a confession to make. I don't really make any music. I just collect gear and show it on my YouTube channel. So a real common question that I get here on the channel is like, where is your music, dude? You have so much gear, where's the music, dude? And it's always funny because with a little bit of research, clicking the description, read more, there's always links down there to my music. It's true that I don't release that much music, and in this video I want to talk about, firstly, my new release that is coming up. It's a new song I've made. Secondly, I want to talk a little bit about why I've struggled with releasing music, and I will also bring in some voices from Twitter where I ask you guys for like reasons why you aren't releasing your music. So I think that'll be interesting, so stick around for that, dude. So this is my new song Pace, and it's available on Bandcamp as well as Spotify and iTunes, so you just check the description for links. And I think there's about 200 free downloads over on Bandcamp as well, so yeah, go and grab your copy right now. So I tweeted to you guys about this problem, the problem for releasing your music, and I got a couple of different answers. So what is your number one reason if you have difficulty releasing a track? and Slacker here, a long-term viewer, wrote cleverly, forgot to write it. I thought it was cool. And Daniel points out here that it's easy to get stuck in the loop territory and thinking that the loops just aren't good enough. I also think that Dachipucci is onto something here. He says, being afraid that people might hate it or love it, or worst of all, not care at all. So lastly in this video, I want to talk a little bit about my personal experiences struggling getting my music out there. So I guess reason number one that I have had troubles in the past releasing my music has to do with procrastination. I sort of, I make a demo and I think, yeah, I should finish this, but I never end up finishing it. I sort of push it to the future. That's been a huge problem of mine during different periods in my life. However, the procrastination meme is not sort of the answer to the question. Of course, you procrastinate in different aspects of your life depending on other things that are going on. So for example, for me personally, I've procrastinated for various reasons. For example, when I was working a lot, I was in charge of 2 clinics or psychotherapy offices, and I was also doing university work as well as studying part-time. Of course I procrastinated with my music because I was so tired and I didn't have the time and I didn't have the focus. So of course I sort of pushed that to the back of my mind whenever I hit some kind of obstacle. I did a demo and then I really had to do like the hard work finishing it. Of course I would push that away. So I think procrastination, sure, that can be a real problem if you look at your everyday life. But you also have to look like the wider context of why you are procrastinating and try to work on that. Now, that was one problem I've had over the last few years. Now, a second problem which ties into why I was procrastinating was the lack of a meaningful, I would say, social context. Now you could call it like artistic context, a musical context, but ultimately for me it was a social context, a lack of a social context. For example, now I'm sitting here talking to you guys, and that constitutes a meaningful social context for me, a context where I can release my music, but more so create fun videos, reviews, tutorials. So when I now have this context, it's much easier for me to navigate what I should do, what I should focus on. But if you're a beginner starting out in music, or if you're a hobbyist with a daytime job and you're doing your music in the evening, finding a crowd not only of producers to talk to, but also where sort of your audience is, and understanding that social context, that musical social context, I think is really important. And I've struggled with this in the past. Now a third reason that I've had trouble releasing my stuff has been that I've not really been able to create, or in periods of my life I had trouble creating meaningful musical projects that ties my music together. And I think this is part of pretty much any like creative endeavor, that you're sort of working on your art, you're sort of finding your expression and how to fit it all together. But because I didn't feel connected to the hip-hop scene, I didn't really feel connected to any like EDM or dance scene, even though I did that kind of music, I didn't feel culturally connected to that scene. I had trouble kind of navigating and putting my music together in a format that felt connected in a meaningful way. If you listen to, say, my first album I think it's called The Last Crusade, it's so long ago and I don't remember, it's a little bit all over the place. I like hip-hop beats and there's a little bit more of electronica stuff, and it's very spread out. And I think it's because I was dipping my toe in different social contexts and different musical expressions. And I do think as you mature as a music creator, you'll become more, you'll become more aware of what you want to do and sort of how that fits together in a meaningful way. And this doesn't mean that you cater to an audience or that you just do a certain genre. It just means that there's some kind of coherence. There's a coherence to what you're doing. Things gel together. I think that comes a lot with experience as well as developing your skills. Training, for example, if you aren't used to exercising and you try and start exercising, it might be very hard because it takes time finding like what's the right exercise for me, where's the people that I like to hang out with, like what sport or type of exercise will provide me with not just fun training or meaningful training, but meaningful people to hang out with, because I think that's very important. If we look at people who are very good at training, they either have some kind of rigorous routine that they've stuck to, or they just enjoy themselves when they do it because of the training itself, but also because of the people that are there, more so than maybe the results. I don't really think that the results themselves are what are driving people the most. So these were just some thoughts, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this subject, like why it's hard for you to release your music and get it out there. So be sure to leave comments down below. And if you want to, you can always hit the little like button, you can click the subscribe button, and if you want to support this channel, the live streams and the content I make, head over to patreon.com/bowbeats. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a pleasant day.